Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome to what's going to be the final video of the Donkey Kong Land 3 project. This is, I guess, kind of an extra video because what I'm going to be showing off today is literally just the time trial mode. And the time trial mode is basically what you think it would be. You play through basically one level of each level theme, and you see if you can beat the developer's top time on it. And once you do that for every single level, you get a congratulations screen telling you you've done everything in the game. You save your file and you get 103%, which is the highest percent possible. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, that's really all I have to say, because that's pretty much what this mode kind of boils down to. It doesn't really develop the story, it's just kind of extra. So I guess, well, because of that, we'll be making this an extra video. It's only going to be one extra video. I thought it would be two, but honestly, the levels were not as long as I remember them for some reason, because I guess I kind of had an assumption that they were longer versions of levels we had played before, but no, they're quite literally just levels that were in the game. I don't remember which level is which or anything, because, you know, there's not like a whole lot of detail behind them, but essentially that's what we're going to be dealing with. So for this video, I'm just going to be showing you my successful attempts at all the time trials, and once we're done with all of them, that'll pretty much be this video, and that'll pretty much be this project, as we've pretty much covered everything that you could do in Donkey Kong Land 3. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So here we go. We have the list of stages here. You have, like I said before, basically one level from each theme. And the first theme that we have is the Stilt theme, which I don't know why they call it that, but the Stilt theme is basically just the kind of the pier, the dockside theme. Basically the first level type that you would see in this game and also in Donkey Kong Country 3. So yeah, basically from the very beginning, like, you just start where you are, you get Dixie Kong, and you just start moving through the level. As far as basic tips, I mean, the only tips I can really give you, just kind of play the levels over and over and over again, see if you can find any shortcuts, find just in general the fastest movement through these levels, and you should be able to get it no problem. It's not like Crash Bandicoot time trials where you have like time boxes throughout the levels and you have to kind of improve on those. Like, these are just the straight up levels, and you do have an extra hit. So if you get hit, you'll become Kiddy Kong, and I think if you get any DK barrels throughout the level, you'll actually be able to switch Kongs too, so you can also use that to your advantage. A lot of these times are pretty tight, so you essentially have to just optimize your movements, really. There are some like really nifty shortcuts in some of the levels that can really save you a lot of time, and I'll definitely point those out when I get to them, but for the most part, just kind of keep moving. If you get hit, I don't want to say that you can't do it, because like even I kind of stopped right there, but you know, you'll have a harder chance of doing it. Like, you'll have to have like some kind of time save as you're going through this, and that's pretty much it. Dixie is probably the more optimized Kong to use, just because Dixie does have the ponytail twirl, and maybe not so much in like this level, but in like other levels where you know, there's lots of gaps you can kind of hover over. You can definitely gain a lot of time that way. And of course, you just have more exact movements with the ponytail twirl. Although, you know, if you're falling down, obviously you don't want to be using the ponytail twirl too much, just because it, you know, it will be slower movement than just falling straight down, but it's a level by level and case by case basis, obviously. So yeah, I actually took a hit with Dixie in this one, and I feel like this level didn't take me too many tries. I had like a couple of runs that ended very early, and then I just kind of had this run, and you know, it's pretty simple, all things considered. Another thing that can help is rolling. If you roll into an enemy, you'll kind of get like a small boost of speed, which definitely does help. So you can kind of use that to your advantage if you want to get like a little bit of an extra speed boost from enemies. So definitely do not be afraid to kind of practice that as you're going through these levels, especially if you just kind of want to optimize your times and, you know, maybe get some runs faster than what you even thought you were capable of. Maybe you could compete in some speedrun leaderboards, which I'm not really sure if there's like an active Donkey Kong Land 3 speedrun community, but I also just wouldn't be surprised if there was one either. Because again, there's just there's a speedrun community for pretty much every game, it feels like. There isn't for Jigsaw Madness, which is, I know, a very weird example, because that's a game I played on stream recently, and just felt like bringing it up because after I was done streaming it, I looked it up to see if there was a speedrun community, because, you know, I speedrun the game Pieces on SNES, so I was curious to see if that game had a speedrun community, which it does not. But pretty much because this is a kind of a main series Nintendo game, there probably is like some sort of dedicated speedrun community to it. It is kind of just like a really nice game to kind of breeze through also. It's like not too long, and again, like I feel like the Donkey Kong Country games and land games for that matter were kind of built with speed in mind. That's why they have, like, you know, whenever you complete a game, they tell you your total time in your on the file select screen, because, you know, they kind of want you to test you to see if you can beat the game faster than we did the first time. So, you know, even the developers encourage that kind of play, which I think is really cool. So yeah, there we go. This is kind of the Riverside course. This is where Dixie definitely is really, really good, because she can just kind of skip a lot of sections and kind of fly over a lot of other nasty areas. You really don't have to touch the water much at all. Now here we have the Coral Time Trial. The Coral Time Trial is, in my opinion, probably one of the hardest ones to optimize, because you kind of just have to feel your way around the level and kind of also hope that you find a really hidden shortcut. It's a very weird shortcut too, because like you'd be thinking like, why is it there? But like if you tried to do this level normally, you'd come up like 20 or 30 seconds short, and you'd be wondering, wait, how the hell do I like cut 20 seconds off of this? And well, the first answer to that question was Enguarde. Obviously, getting Enguarde is optimal. You want to get Enguarde for this level because he just has faster sideways movement, and I feel like he also even just moves faster vertically too in the water. And the second thing is, again, that shortcut that I was calling attention to, and we'll see that shortcut in a little bit, like, you know, less than 20 seconds from now we'll see it. It's just really weird because, like, why? How would you know that? Like, why would you find that? I have no idea. So basically there's a barrel there that'll shoot you basically right towards the finish line. And there you go, you can beat that pretty easily. And like if you don't do that, you have to kind of climb over another vertical section, go down, go across, and it's just not very fast. So next up we have the tree level. You definitely want to take this shortcut right here. That'll skip a nice little vertical section that we kind of bypassed. I feel like I got kind of lucky on this one, just because this level is pretty, like, I don't want to say it's, like, hard, but, you know, there is definitely a degree of challenge to it, because, you know, you're in a lot of, like, very narrow sections. Enemies kind of blend in at the background a little bit, so you can kind of get caught off guard if you're not careful. You just kind of have to have faith in yourself. If you have an extra Kong, do not be afraid to maybe just kind of like gun it in like a rope climbing section. Because think about it, if you don't get hit, you have an extra Kong that you can use later in the level. If you do get hit, well, you won't die. Just keep going. You can actually kind of go a little faster than just like waiting for the monkey to throw rocks at you, or the bee that's kind of like, you know, flying back and forth. So, you know, definitely use that to your advantage. It definitely doesn't hurt to memorize where some of, like, the DK barrels are and stuff. But obviously you don't want to make a habit of just, like, you know, looking for all the barrels, because you are on a time limit after all. But, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Just kind of move as fast as you can within reason, I guess. Also, this is a little nifty kind of time save right there. You do have to kind of jump there like I did, because if you go too far, the game will act like you fell off the screen and died. But yeah, you can kind of use that to your advantage. Also, yeah, I thought that was kind of funny, so I left that in. But I mean, this was the successful attempt anyway, so even with that happening, that earlier time saved enough time where that didn't actually matter too much. And like, this is like, what, 120 I think they said is what the time was, so we'll see how much time I saved just by doing what I did anyway. So yeah, this is actually the last cliff level. I don't want to say they did just like the last levels of each type, because I know that's not true for the cave level. Because the cave level was its own kind of unique beast. But the level they used for the cave level is actually the last level of the game before the first K-Rool fight. The one that has the, or maybe it was the first one, like, I don't know. But basically, it's the one that has the Kachukka at the very end. It was a nice reminder of that. So yeah, like, even with those, like, unfortunate bounces from the Cruncha enemies, I still managed to come in, like, still, like, under a second in terms of the time, so, or under 2 seconds. So that's pretty good. The factory level, probably one of the more longer levels to do this, or the longer time trials. But it's not too bad. I feel like this was actually a first try. Again, it's just a matter of moving fast. And again, you'd think that this would be kind of like a maze, but it's really not. It's kind of a very straightforward and pretty simple. And you can get some nice boosts from enemies, like right there. And even earlier when I kind of did the little ponytail twirl roll through the Kaboing enemy. I think that's what they're called. And also remember that Kiddy Kong. Kiddy Kong can actually jump on the Cruncher guys, so if it benefits you to have Kiddy for a section that has a bunch of crunches to get just a little extra speed by jumping on them, go for it. Like, definitely go for it, because it's a pretty solid time save. Even I like screwed up like right here, and I think I still managed to get in the base in time. That was also a very lucky bounce. That wasn't. So I guess I kind of like saved neutral time there. It's like I got time for the good jump, then I lost that same time back by getting hit. That's pretty much what time trials are, though. It's just like a constant shift of speed and time. I actually beat the time for that by 10 seconds. That's kind of interesting. And okay, maybe this is the longest time trial in the game. It is 2 minutes. And I feel like this is also a case where I screwed up as well. I think, anyway. And I think it was also a case where it's just like, I was like, well, I did have a huge time save early on. Maybe I'll try it, and then I ended up beating it anyway. But yeah, this is definitely the longest one. And we're almost done anyway. We only have 3 more after this, so I think we're doing a good job here on the time trials. So while we're kind of going through here, I do want to thank everybody for just, you know, being very, like, supportive of this particular project, because, you know, when I do Let's Plays throughout the year, there's a number of games that, like, that I don't expect will be, like, you know, Project of the Year worthy projects, and hell, I wouldn't even say this one would be, like, probably Project of the Year by the end of the year anyway. But still, like, I had a lot of fun doing this, and, you know, it was kind of nice just playing, like, a small, little fun game like this that's, you know, obviously not of superb, excellent, amazing quality, but it was still fun. And, you know, I could just have fun with the commentary, have fun with making the videos, and, you know, you guys seemed very, very receptive of that, and I really appreciate that, because this was a lot of fun to do. Probably of all the, like, kind of small projects, like 10, kind of close to 10 video projects I've done in like the last few years, this is probably one of the better ones. So yeah, it was a lot of fun doing this one. And, you know, after getting a lot of comments about it in the video description of the first video, also, wow, I beat that by 12 seconds. I am actually definitely thinking about covering the country games again, but the handheld versions, which is not something I would ever consider doing, because I always thought that was just kind of like, well, I've already covered this game once, I don't need to do it again. But, you know, especially like even the GBA versions of the country games, they have like unique features that make them, you know, a little different from the originals. Like, I know a lot of the things they do is, like, they include mini-games. Donkey Kong Country 1 actually kind of had, like, a scrapbook feature where you could find, like, little cameras throughout the game, and you'd add, like, pictures. And there's almost, like, achievements associated with, you know, getting, like, all of the scrapbook pictures. So I always thought that was kind of neat, so that would be a cool little thing to show off. I don't think Donkey Kong Country 2 does a lot different. I know it has kind of a side time trial mode, kind of like this, called Diddy's Dash, which is kind of neat. And it also adds like a boss fight, because the K. Rool's Keep boss fight is not a boss fight in Country 2, it's just literally a small 5-second cutscene. So they actually added a boss fight to that. Donkey Kong Country 3 actually did add quite a number of things. Also, getting really bad RNG with this barrel right here. I don't know if it's like set on a universal timer or not, but again, it was kind of funny to see that in action. But yeah, like Donkey Kong Country 3 had actually an entire new world added to the game. And let me say, the levels in that world are weird. They're very, very weird. But yeah, maybe I will actually show those at some point in the future. I don't know if I'll do it like on a year-by-year basis like I have been doing. A large part of it just kind of depends on what I decide to do with my upload schedule for future years. Because as you guys know, I've been on a kind of like every other day upload schedule, at least during the weekdays for my YouTube channel. And you know, there is a possibility, like, someday in the future I may go back to daily uploads. And, you know, if I do go back to daily uploads, like, projects like the GBA country games, I think would be good for that, to kind of fill in some of those, you know, bigger gaps of projects and stuff. But as of right now, like, I know there's a lot of other big games I want to get to. And, like, I don't want to just do, like, only, like, 5 or 6 games per year. I kind of want to still do at least 10 games per year, which I think I've been doing a good job with keeping up with that. Anyway, next up we have the tube level, and this is actually the last level of the game, so after this we are done with the time trials. And I love how they just chose this one. The shortest, pretty much the shortest time trial in the entire game. And most of it's automated, so I mean, you can't really fail this, I feel like. I mean, maybe if you get hit, like, you'll slow down a lot, which I guess could waste a lot of time, but it's really not that hard to make these jumps. And, like, yeah, I even got hit there, so really, really not a hard level. And it's kind of funny, because as we just played earlier, if we just do that, we'll just blast into the exits, and there we go. And here's our reward for being the time trials. That's it. We get a trophy. The game says it's completed. Yeah, we're done. And we can look through all the worlds again to make sure we have everything, which we do. Like, I know a lot of people are actually asking me, like, what do the DK coins even do in this game? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I want to say that you need them all to get to the Lost World. And then you need all the bonus coins to get the rest of the DK coins and the watches to unlock the time trials. But I think that's it. Like, I think the DK coins are just for the Lost World, and even then, I have no idea. The collectibles are kind of weird here. But yeah, that's going to do it for Donkey Kong Land 3. I want to thank all you guys for watching yet again. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next project. So, this has been SlimKirby. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Later, folks.